Today is Saturday, October 4th, 2025. It's 10:51 in the morning, a.m. in the Rocky Mountains. We're at Washington Park. There's some type of big event. I think they're doing some type of marathon, so you might see a lot of people running. But we're going to get right into the scriptures today. This will be part 3 of Bloody October, how they have everything planned out, okay? The evil plan of 2025. And we've been saying this for a long time, you know, that this is all by design, okay? It's all by design. My allergies. A lot of plants out here. Let me see here. So we're going to start with. Yeah, so I don't know what I'm going to title this, but an evil genius plan, a wicked masterminds evil scheme. Okay, this is all by design with the shutdown of the government, the war that's brewing over there in Ukraine. We send billions of dollars to Ukraine. We're running that war in Ukraine, killing Russian soldiers. All right, since 2014, and we're running a show in Israel. We send billions of dollars to Israel, but they're shutting the government down, and they're, like I told you, from the beginning of this year, they're purging government, and they're going to purge corporate America, the corporate jobs. This is the time of the purge. All right, so this is all by design. We'll talk more about it, but I want to get right into the scriptures. Okay? So we're going to start with the Holy Book of Matthew, chapter 12, verse 25. The Holy Book of Matthew, chapter 12, verse 25 and 26. And Yahushua knew what they were thinking. All right? Because over here we don't say Jesus, okay? Because that's, people ignorantly say Jesus. There was no J's in the ancient Hebrew, okay? That came way later in the English language. But in the ancient times, there was no J. That's why even back in the late 70s, early 80s, when I would go around to different churches, because I was always trying to find, trying to find a place of worship. So I went all over these different Protestant churches, and a few of them, they knew his name wasn't Jesus. All right, they would say Yeshua, Yahweh, and the Jehovah's, they say Jehovah, right? But that's not his name. We have the name. His name is Yahushua, which means he is the deliverer of his people. Okay. So going back, on verse 25, Yahushua knew what they were thinking, and so he said to them, "Any country that divides itself into groups which fight each other will not last very long." See, the Holy Book, there's only one book on this earth. One true book, 100%. It's the Holy Book. All the other books, are all garbage. You do have you do need like dictionaries, the Black's Law Dictionary, things, those type of books to look up words, especially if you need to go into the Hebrew, the Greek, the Latin, English. Well, I'm talking about your books at Barnes and Nobles, your libraries. 99.9% of them is garbage. You only have one 100% book, is the holy book, and then you have the the dictionaries to look up words, and you tie everything together. Okay, but if you want to know everything from the past, the present, and the future, it's the holy book. So all the knowledge and wisdom comes from this book. And Yahushua said, the words came out of his mouth, where he says, any country that divides itself into groups which fight each other will not last very long. What's the point that I'm making? This country is divided with Republicans and Democrats. All right? And that was all by design by the Rothschilds. It's to keep the nation and the people divided. This is how they have total control, and they control both sides. And then and they run all these different organizations with the girls, the boys with the boys, with the Black Lives Matter. You have like the Puerto Ricans, the Cubans, the Mexicans. They create all these little, I call them clubs. All right, and those are the people that are in that are the 2/3. All right, because it's government money that keeps these organizations, clubs running, and it's to keep the people divided. Okay, like I said, they're behind, just like that Charlie boy, and many others that they have them go to colleges to debate. The money that they kick back to them is coming from the U.S. government, Israel, the Rothschilds. All right, the Rothschilds are running it, and they control they own the Federal Reserve, and they control all these organizations. All right, and it's to keep the people divided, to fight each other. All right, they're sitting back and they're watching the games. They're letting the games begin. Let them fight it out. Let them kill each other. All right, keep them occupied with this nonsense. All right, and that's what it is. We're 2025. Okay, 2020, God knocked everybody off their high horse. And 2025, everybody thought everything was back to normal, and people are on their high chair, like a baby, because Americans they're spoiled rotten, so they're like little babies on a high chair. 2025, he's knocking you off your high chair. All right, you're on the ground now. 2026, you're going to be crawling on the ground. All right, and a lot of you men and women are going to have broken arms, legs, crawling like a worm, because 2026 is the starting of the depression. All right, the last few years has been a recession. We're going into a depression. You don't wait for the government to tell you, oh, we're in a recession. Right when they say we're in a recession, we're in a depression. And you have all these people that are backpedaling, all these so-called experts on CNN, Fox, and CNBC. All right, they were saying, oh, everything's great. Just a few months ago, they were saying everything's going great. The last 2 months, they're backpedaling, saying things ain't going good. All right, the last 2-3 weeks, I hear a lot of this. So these people, they're being called out. They're being called out. All right, for this misinformation. Over here, you're going to get 100% truth. And you heard it. You heard the words out of our Lord. He says, and any country that divides itself into groups which fight each other will not last very long. You see, the writing's on the wall. This country is not going to last very long. It's divided. We've been talking about the Civil War and race wars that are coming. All right, and it's going to be the worst. All right, You had things that happened in the 1960s. Okay, that's nothing what's coming. You just seen a little taste in 1992 with the Los Angeles riots. That was just a glimpse of the future. Okay, just imagine all the major cities here in America on fire and perimeters. No trucks. The highways are all going to be shut down. That's what's coming. But civil war is brewing in this country, and this country is not going to last very long. And it's all by design, because the Rothschilds, they want the whole world, and they're gonna put the devil's chip in you. That's their whole game plan. All right. So this uproar, this chaos that's coming in 2026, 2027, this might last for 3-4 years, 5 years with this depression, and then add to it with the wars that are happening in Ukraine and the Middle East, and with China, with Taiwan. You know, put this all together. It's going to be hell on earth. All right. You already see Trump. He's already sending in troops. He wants to send troops into American cities. And then if you watch that assembly of generals, watch that speech. And he was talking about that they all have to be one. And if any general had an opinion, or if they were against what he was talking about, he said, "Go take a walk." He said, "There's the door." He said, "Get up now." No one was standing up. All right, they were just going to listen to their chief leader, which is Donald Trump, the emperor, and he's bringing out the law, and those draconian laws are coming. All right, a lot of these military leaders, they're not going to say nothing because they're going to lose everything. Anybody speaks up, like how the prophets are speaking up, these men will lose. They'll lose everything. All right, their retirement, they'll be stripped. They will embarrass them, and they will crush them and their family if you speak against the emperor. Oh, we're living in beautiful times, brothers and sisters. But God, like what our Lord said, a divided country will not last long. Okay? He says, any town or family that divides itself into groups which fight each other will fall apart. And that's true. All right? Cities are falling apart, and families. Right, especially with this truth, right? You have family members that believe in that false doctrine. They were brainwashed since they were small children, okay, by the U.S. government. You know, those books when you went to school was all by design. All right, for you to believe in a flag. In this country, in this Ponzi scheme, the racket of Wall Street, to work from 9 to 5, put your money in your 401, you were brainwashed. All right, you were brainwashed with these fake churches that the Rothschilds control. Remember, they control the Federal Reserve, they control the branches of government, and they control the false church, starting with the pagan Roman Church. They own the Vatican and the Vatican Bank. All right, they own all the banks in Europe and most all the banks of the world. All right, with that paper fiat money. All right, now they want to go with the digital, but it's leading to the RFID devil's chip, total control. All right, that's why they're going to burn this whole system down. But any family that's divided will fall. All right? That's why you have to remove yourself from people that believe in this system, that believe in the beast, that believe in the false church system. Remove yourself from these evil people. All right? The only thing you could do is pray for them, that they see the light. If not, keep an arm's length away from these people. All right? Because it's coming down to crunch time now. It's coming down. The fight is on. It's a spiritual war, but it's going to start getting physical, especially with the prophets, the 144,000, and the great multitude of brothers, sisters, and children. And like I said, I know I feel it, and I know you brothers and sisters can feel it. You can feel it's off. Everything is off. Okay, things are moving quick, but this country is not going to last much longer. All right, it could drag 3, 7, 10 years. Only the Most High God knows that. All right, He controls the time. Our job is to keep occupied in this truth. Keep yourself busy. Read the Word every day. Play the Scriptures. Put on the harp. All right. Let's go to. And he says right here. He says, so if one group is fighting another in Satan's kingdom, this means that it is already divided into groups and will soon fall apart. Yes, and this is Satan's kingdom. Satan rules the kingdoms of this earth, and it's all divided. And it's like I said, Satan and his legions, they stir up trouble. That's what they're the god of chaos, the god of death. All right, the wages of sin is death. You're gonna be on the left-hand side with Satan, or you're gonna be on the right-hand side with the Most High Son, Yahweh Shai. That's the ancient Hebrew name of our Lord. All right, if you're on the right-hand side, do the right thing. Become a better human being every day. Read the Holy Book and get this knowledge and this wisdom and this understanding of the times that we're living in. Because most of these people, they're in total confusion. They don't know what to believe. All right, and that's why he says right here in verse 28, but God's Spirit, Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai, who gives me the power to drive out demons, which proves that the kingdom of Yahweh has already come upon you. All right? Because the Most High sent His Son to the world to save the world. To save who? To save the 12 tribes of Israel. But only 1/3 is going to make it. 2/3 are going to be cut off, and they're going to die. All right? Look that up. 2/3 are going to die. And these nations, they're going to be destroyed. All the nations have got to go because they laid hands on the prophets. All right. So let's go to the Holy Book of Mark. The Holy Book of Mark, chapter 3. We'll start with verse 24. How can Satan drive out Satan? If a country divides itself into groups which fight each other, that country will fall apart. If a family divides itself into groups which fight each other, that family will fall apart. And then we're going to go to the Holy Book of Luke, chapter 11, verse 14. Yahushua was driving out a demon that could not talk, and when the demon went out, the man began to talk, and the crowds were amazed. But some of the people said, "It is Beelzebub, the chief of the demons, who gives him the power to drive them out." Others wanted to trap Yahushua, so they asked him to perform a miracle to show that God approved of him. But Yahushua knew that they were, but our Lord Yahushua knew what they were thinking. So he said to them, "Any country that divides itself into groups which fight each other will not last very long. A family divided against itself falls apart. So if Satan's kingdom has groups fighting each other, how can it last? It's not going to last. It's all coming to its end. All these nations, the Most High is setting them up. That's Isaiah chapter 45, verse 7. The Most High, Yahweh, controls the right and the left. He's bringing all these nations together to fight the war, the Armageddon. All right? He's bringing them all to the Holy Land, which our land has been defiled right now. I'm on this in the scriptures. I'll call you right back. Excuse me, brothers and sisters. So he says right here, so if Satan's kingdom has groups fighting each other, how can it last? And and it's not going to last. All these things, the Most High setting them all up. He's setting up America, Russia, Europe, China, North Korea, the Middle East, all the nations. All the nations are going to war. Okay? So he says, if Satan's kingdom has groups fighting each other, how can it last? You say that I drive out demons because Beelzebub gives me the power to do so. If this is how I drive them out, how do your followers drive them out? Your followers prove that you are wrong. No, it is rather by the means of Yahweh, God's power, that I drive out demons. And this proves that the kingdom of God, the kingdom of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, has already come to you. Go down to verse 23. Anyone who is not for me is really against me. Anyone who does not help me gather is really scattering. And that's true. If you're not with this truth, you're an enemy. You're an enemy of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. That's why he says, anyone who is not for me is really against me. So you're going to be on the right-hand side, or you're going to be on the left-hand side. But let me tell you something. The people on the left-hand side, they're about to be destroyed. They're going back into the earth where they belong. All right? We're in that second death that's coming. The first death was in the times of Noah, and the second death is nuclear fire. The first death was with the flood. The second death is with fire. All right? But before that great fire comes, you're going to lose your job. You're going to lose your home. You're going to lose all your money in the bank. You're going to be homeless. You're going to be put in concentration camps. Some of your families are going to they're going to draft them into the war. All right? A lot of your family and your children will be slaughtered in the streets. There's going to be protests. There's going to be people marching. There's going to be people attacking the police, attacking the military, and they're going to get mowed down. All right, then add the wild animals. God's going to put the rabies on the animals, and then add the famine. All right, everything's coming down. I'm going to check the camera because the sun's on it. I want to make sure it didn't turn off. Go to Psalms. Go to the Holy Book, Psalms 36 and 4. I'll get in with some shade over here. Let's just start with verse 1. This is the wickedness of man. The wickedness, the most evil man on earth is the Greco-Romans and the Herodian dynasty, which are those Amalekites that everybody thinks are the real Jews of the Bible. All right, those are the synagogue of Satan, the frauds, the imposters, the Khazars. Okay, that's why you need to do your research. All right, them Jews that are in Israel, them Hebrew Edomites in Israel, and they're in Europe, they're in America, and they rule your Congress, they rule your Senate, they rule the government in all your states and cities. All right? And you got people waking up. You even have MAGA waking up. Every day I see videos. They're angry. All right? They're angry because all these red states, they're going bankrupt. The people are going bankrupt. They're losing their farms, they're losing their construction companies, they're losing their landscaping, they're losing their restaurants, they're losing their businesses. They don't see no help coming. All right? Donald Trump doesn't care about his own. He only cares about the illuminated ones. All right? You're all on the chopping block, and we warned you. And 2/3 of our people, they're on the run now. You have Jakes out of all the tribes, they're on the run, all right, because they're just picking them up, all right. And they're even I'll do a video. They're even giving these kickbacks and bonuses to pick up families, all right. And a lot of them that are joining ICE are white supremacists, KKK. That's why they're wearing those masks over their faces, and they're just picking up people. And you probably have some guys that are just out there dressed like ICE just to pick up some women, take them to their basement, and who knows what they're doing. Well, I'll tell you, they're just doing some disgusting things. All right. As these evil days continue, it's just going to get worse and worse, more evil by the day. All right. And when these Edomites find out that they're the devil, when these Edomites find that they're the devil, they're going to go all out. All right. You have people now leaving the churches. You have preachers leaving the church because they're watching our videos, because we're breaking it down over here, and they're looking it up. They're looking up these words, and they're finding out that everything that they were taught was a lie. Okay. So things are moving fast. Okay. And that's why he says right here in Psalms chapter 36, verse 1, sin speaks to the wicked, man deep in his heart. He rejects God and does not have reverence for him because he thinks so highly of himself. He thinks that God will not discover his sin and condemn it. His speech is wicked and full of lies, just like when you see your president, your Congress, your Senate about this government shutdown. The Republicans and the Democrats are one. All right, they're the illuminated ones. This is all by design. Okay, and we're going to get into. I'm going to read some articles for you, brothers and sisters, because things are happening so fast. But it's. I have so many family members calling me this week. What's going on? You know, they're like double-minded. These are family members that are double-minded people. That's in the holy book. Don't be a double-minded human. They believe in God, but they're doing their own thing. Their business is more important. Their wife is more important. Their husband is more important. Their children are more important. Their work is more important. They're double-minded people. God is number one. God is number one. That's why in the holy book God says he is a jealous God. All these people just want to live their life, their good life. But I had a lot of calls this week from family and friends. All right, they got scared when the news came out and said the government is shut down. Well, what's going to happen? And I was breaking it down. All right, this is the purge. It's all by design. This red flags should be coming out of the ground for you, coming out of you should just see red right now. When you're watching NBC, CBS, ABC, Fox News, and it's right in your face, government shutdown, we're in big trouble. And we've been telling you this. They said we're going into 38 trillion in debt. Okay. Elon Musk, a few months back, at the beginning of the year, I seen him he was having a conversation, and they had it recorded, and he said we're over 100 trillion in debt. Okay. And you've seen his son in the White House saying Trump was a nobody, which Trump is a nobody. All these dummies think that he has some type of power. He's just a flunky. All right, he's a coffee boy for the Rothschilds. All right, your Congress and your Senate, they're all coffee boys. All right, they're told what to do. All right, I will say that Trump has that spirit for all his followers to start a civil war. All right, they're in that spirit of war, to fight, hatred to they're all for the glory of white supremacy, right? He does carry that spirit, all right? Where Biden, and remember, Biden and Trump and all of them, the Clintons, the Bushes, they all sit together. They all get together. They go to Aspen, they go to Vail, they go up in Northern California, the Bohemian Grove, all right? They do things to children, all right? Like they're making, that puff, that goofy Negro. Everybody thinks he started all this. He's a low level. He's like a 1, 2, 3 degree Mason. He's low level. All those rappers, they're on the bottom. They're 1, 2, 3 degrees. They're the small potatoes. All right. He learned that from that Hollywood, those Amalekites. All right. They've been doing that. All those Hollywood stars, they do things to little children. They're sick. That's why God calls them perverts. That's in the Holy Book of Revelation. We're living amongst perverts, creeps, evil, vile human beings. And they do sacrifices. And that's going on to something else. But P. Diddy, he's a nobody. Right? But they all get together. Trump, Biden. Biden, when he was in office, he was in the spirit of a free-for-all. Just let anybody come in and do whatever you want. We'll give you houses, Section 8, HUD, we'll get you a house, all that. Trump, his spirit is now to hunt. He's a hunter, all right? But like I said, the Rothschilds are bringing down that hammer, but it's really the Most High. Isaiah chapter 45, verse 7. The Most High controls the left-hand side. He controls the Rothschilds. He's their whipping stick. All right, he gave them the power of the belt. He gave them the power of destruction. All right, the real fangs, they're the real dragons on the left-hand side of the Rothschild family. And they're coming down. They believe in brute force. And that's what they're going to be bringing to America. Okay? And what does he say right here? His speech is wicked and full of lies. He no longer does what is wise and good. He makes evil plans as he lies in bed. Nothing he does is good. And he never rejects anything evil. This is the point, verse 4. He makes evil plans as he lies in bed. This is the evil plan with this shutdown. This is all by design, all right? Because they fired over 300,000. That's what they're saying. It could be much more, okay? But you have some took an early retirement, and you have some that are fighting or even suing the government. But when there's a government shutdown, it's you have no rights, and he's bragging about it. Donald Trump is bragging about it, that he's going to purge jobs because of this shutdown, and he's pointing the finger at Democrats. The Democrats are pointing at him. It's a game. It's entertainment. All right, just like with this Charlie boy. They're saying somebody was in a bush that killed him. Someone was behind him. It could have been his own a preacher that he knew might have shot him from the back. They said something about the fan. It's all entertainment. All right. Some people don't even believe that he died. All right? It looks like he died, but who knows with these devils? I believe they killed him. He was just a sacrifice. Okay. And he was starting to speak up against Israel. All right, that's how they knocked him off. You talk against Israel, you're done. For sure, they'll fire you. They will make you. They will take all your money away. They will destroy you. All right, they will destroy you. All right, if you say anything on the radio, you try to put it out in the newspapers. You say something at work about these Zionists, you're gone. You've seen how a lot of people. Thousands of Americans lost their jobs that went on social media and said something about Charlie Boy. They lost their job. But like, if you go back to my videos, I've told you, brothers and sisters, don't bring up this truth at work. they will demonize you. All right? You go to work, do your job, and leave. Talk about sports, talk about whatever you want to talk about, but do not talk about this truth at work, because they will demonize you and you will not have a job. All right? And I've been saying this for years. All right? But it's on you when you're at home. I wouldn't put nothing on social media. That's what we do. That's our job. All right? That's our job, to bring out these scriptures and bring out these videos. Like I said, we're all the brothers that are in this truth. We're all, we're the first ones that get picked up. Okay, like I said, I have FBI vans sitting in front of my house in the alley. They follow me around. They've been doing that for years. Right, but I'm not afraid of the FBI. I'm not afraid of government. I'm not afraid of none of these bums. I'm afraid of Yahweh. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, the beginning of wisdom. That's who I fear. See? Look how God just bringing them. He's saying, yeah, you better have fear of the Almighty God. All right? But man, they can do whatever they want to do to me. Cut my arms off, my legs, cut my head off. I'm spiritual strong in this truth. Whatever happens, happens. All right? Like, well, I told you, a lot of brothers and sisters, when this comes down, all right, you're just seeing the beginning of sorrow. When this goes down and people start getting picked up, a lot of you are going to fold. All right? You're going to get the devil's chip. A lot of you are going to become weak. That's why you got to man up and woman up. But there's going to be brothers that you see out there really preaching for years that are going to get the devil's chip. That's on a different lesson. That's why you have to be in prayer and always pray that I stand up in that day. Okay? That you stand up and be a good soldier to death, and then you'll get the crown of life. Okay, let me read this. Some of the things I had written down. I put on my messages with this government shutdown. I wouldn't be surprised if they fire 4, 5, 6, 700,000. Like I said, they're going to implode this whole system. They're not going to be hurt. And remember this too: politicians. Your politicians are millionaires. All right. You have some senators and men that are in Congress that are billionaires. All right. They're the ones stealing all the money. All this money that's missing, they have a back room where they all get together and they're cutting up the money. All right. You're only going to hear this from this channel and from other the apostles and a few other brothers. You're only going to get this truth. You're not going to hear this on CNN, Fox. They're not going to invite me, all right, to their colleges or to the studio so I could break this down. They don't want nobody to know this truth, all right? But no, they're in the back rooms. They're cutting all the money, the millions and the billions of dollars that they're stealing from you, and it's to destroy you. The whole game plan is to make every American family destitute, so you could be on your knees begging for mercy. And they're not going to force you with this devil's chip. These people are going to want this chip in them because they're going to be starving to death. Who controls the food, which Esau controls the food industry. He controls the farms, controls the grocery stores. They own the corporations. All right, they control the population. That's why you brothers and sisters better wake up and get ready for what's coming. Only the strong are going to survive. Like I said, this is raw and uncut. Let me find this article here. There's a few of them. There's some points, I'll write things up so I could bring it up on the videos. So let's go here. Like I said, I call this Bloody October, the October Nightmare. Everything is this year. Like I said, God knocked you off your high chair. All right, everybody think, oh, we got, I'm okay. No, you're not gonna be okay. It's a dominoes effect. All right, and he's going after his own government employees, state, city. They're all getting fired, laid off, furloughed. And I forgot to tell you, a week ago I went to the Denver City County, our county buildings where you get permits if you put a door up. Yeah, I'm still here at the park. I'm on a video. I'll call you when I'm done. It's my daughter. What was I saying? My train of thought. I was gonna say something, but see, things happen. But things are gonna get bad. All right, with these job losses, it's going to be a dominoes effect. Okay, it's going to hurt everybody. Small businesses, restaurants, and retail. Retail's done. You know, I think this coming holiday season, it'll be the worst ever. And starting 2026, you're going to see malls across the United States close. Okay, they're going to be closing. We're in big trouble. Just seeing that Starbucks, they knocked off 100 stores. They said hundreds more will be closed. All right. You got McDonald's and Burger King. They're trying to bring people back. I seen a commercial the other day. I think it was $8 for a Big Mac meal, but it's regular like $14-15. And I think they did a breakfast thing too for $5. They're just trying to get anybody, human being, to walk into their store. All right. But it's going to get so bad with this inflation that people are going to have a hard time just finding $3 or $4. All right, starvation's coming. It's so bright out here, I can't even see. Times are going to get real hard coming in 2026. Like we've been saying, all the brothers, prepare. You need to prepare. Like Noah, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. People are going numb. That's a lot of videos I'm saying. The people are just like I told you, we're in the time of confusion. They don't have no understanding. In their mind, and when they went to school, they thought America was going to last forever. They thought this place was going to go on forever, and that they were just going to make more and more and more money. You're not making more money. You're making less. Your wages are not keeping up with inflation. I seen some guy the other day. He was breaking it down back in like 1971 from gold and silver prices and what people were making. The dollar was much stronger back then. He said if you go back to 1971 to now, you have to be making, I think he said you would have to make about $120 just to live the American dream. And that's not to like live great. That's just to have a home, have money in the bank, go on your 1-2 vacations a year. You have to be making well over $100 an hour, which most Americans, their minimum wage, I think in Texas and Oklahoma, the minimum wage is $7. Here in Denver, it's like $18.62 or something like that. So, and I think next year it's going $19.50, 2026. It keeps on going higher here, but still, it's very expensive. Even at $19-20, you're not going to be able. You might just barely break. You might just get a studio, and that's about it. And you're going to be struggling with $20-25, even $30. You're going to be struggling. Here in Colorado. Colorado is one of the most expensive states to live in. Same thing with California, New Jersey, and New York. Very expensive. But like I said, these people their jobs are done. They're going to lose their homes, and then with these property taxes and the insurance, this is what's destroying people. This is why there's going to be millions of foreclosures. That's why I told you, brothers and sisters, be ready. People are really numb to what's going on outside. The storm is brewing. The storm is coming. Some people have already felt it, but it's nothing like how it's going. what it's going to feel like in 2026 when it really hits. Okay, when everything just comes down. 2025, I will say, people are feeling the pain. All right, they've been feeling the pain since 2006, 2007, 2008, when we went through that collapse. You had hundreds of thousands of people that lost everything. All right, but this is on a whole different level in 2025. 2026 is the depression. You're going to see people in soup lines. All right, you're going to see millions of Americans homeless. All right, but the storm is brewing. All right, but you're really going to feel it when it really hits in 2026. So people are buying. You have people, dummies out there. They're living off of credit. You have dummies out there still buying cars, still buying homes. These overpriced homes. They're all overpriced. The last 5 years, overpriced homes. All right, you're in a bad spot. They're still shopping. You have dummies out there really shopping out there, buying clothes, shoes, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 purses. Yep, these broads are out of control. But you women ain't gonna make it. Most of you women are done. You're done. All right, you're in denial. You're in a fantasy world, and the Most High is gonna break your. He's gonna break your face, your ugly face with all that makeup on your face, and he's gonna knock you down. He's gonna break your leg with your high heels on. All right, I've been praying every day for this to come back, especially on the woman. The women, man, you've been pouncing around, using your body to use men. But these men that have been used, they're coming for you, and they're not gonna be nice. Just like I told you, how ICE is picking up people. Right now, they're picking up the brown people. They're picking up the tribes. You know, the Mexicans. They're picking up the people from Guatemala, Colombia, all the Latin tribes. But they're going to be picking up whites. They're going to be picking up black women. All women are going to be open season for the psychopaths. All right, these psychopaths are coming for the women. All right, they're gonna take your husband out, and they're just taking you. All right, they might take both of you and rape both of you, because these guys are creeps, man. They're into men and women. All right, so if you see a van of priests, run. If you're a male, all right. You know, I don't even want to laugh about it, but those priests, they're not into women, they're into boys. Right? They're into men. You have these guys that well, you don't know what they are, man. They're half man, half woman, and that's a demon called Baphomet. You have these demons that have breasts. They're sick. You have a sick society. You know, I see a lot of these men. I see some of these guys 6'3", 6'5". They're dressed in high heels and everything. It's sick, and I have to bite my tongue. You know, I want to run these people over, but I have to be patient. I have to be waiting for the Lord. I'm just waiting for the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, to give me that power to clean house when that day comes in the future. Right now, I just got to just preach the word, mind my own business, like I'm doing, making my video. But there's a day that God's going to give us the power to clean house. Remember that. We're going to get our powers. All right? But yeah, rape is coming back. All right? Like I said, women are going to be picked up, and men. You're going to have people already pick up people, and they're going to make, I mean, they might get the whole family and your kids and everything. You're going to be slaves, sex slaves and field slaves. They're going to make you do things. They're going to take you out to the farms, the mountains, and we're never going to see you again. So be vigilant. Watch your surroundings. Look around. Don't tell nobody your business. Keep your doors locked. I mean, and be in prayer. That's the times that we're living. This is evil times, man. We're living in some evil. I can feel it. It's just the wind is even, you know what I mean? God's letting you know what's coming. The leaves are flying off over here. You can't see it, but a whole bunch of leaves are flying over there. But the storm is coming. Hope you're taking in consideration what you're making now might not be what you'll be making in a few months. And that's the truth. You might be making $80,000, $120,000 a year, which is really nothing. In Colorado, you're just barely going to make it. But because this year you're making 120, 100, or 90,000, Next year, it might drop down to 60. They might cut your hours in half, or you might just lose your job. You're going to see these federal workers. This might drag for months. In 2018, it went 35 days, the longest that the government was shut down, and that was under Donald Trump. This time, it might go 3 months, 6 months. Even if on Monday they bring it back together, the point that I'm making is America's done. It's a divided country, and they just keep on printing money. All right? The more they print, the higher inflation it goes up. Inflation, then it goes hot inflation, then it goes into hyperinflation. So even if they say, oh, the government's back, it's open again on say Monday, which I think they're going to keep it closed for a while. They're doing this on, like I said, by design. Even if they opened it up on Monday, we're in big trouble. The whole thing is collapsing. You got to have vision. You got to see what's really happening. See, when I watch a movie or I'm at the park, I just don't look at 6 feet in front of me. I look at 12, 20 feet, then I look 50. I look far. I look miles around. All right, you have people that just look at the 2-3 feet in front of them. That's it. I watch what's going on everywhere. I can see a snake. I can see a demon, a creep coming from miles away. I can feel it, and I can see these wicked people. But like I said, it's game over for the U.S. economy. It's game over. They're bringing the whole system down. That's why you brothers and sisters better wake up. All right? So you don't know what you're going to make by next year. You might need to recalculate some of these things before you keep taking on new burdens. And that's what people do. They're getting into another car. They might be buying an RV, a motorcycle. A lot of these things you don't need. You're just putting a new burden on you and your family, and you're going to be left into the streets. All right? The government will take advantage of the people furloughed, and the government is willing to do major firing. All right? They're going to do this purge, and there's nothing you could do about it. This is the perfect time during a government shutdown. You have no rights. You're done. All right? Now these government employees, they're gonna get a rude awakening. And most of these government employees, their heads were in the clouds. All right? They're very rude and arrogant. But they're going to be in the streets soon. They're going to be picked up and thrown in concentration camps because it's illegal now to be homeless. Okay? The firing purge. So not only are these people are they're getting these short notices about getting furloughed, they are potentially never coming back to their positions because the government plans to eliminate all your 15 major departments and your 500 small departments that work for the government. All right, all these positions are going to be purged. You're going to get replaced by AI, just like these corporate jobs. You're going to get replaced. Okay, and I'm going to read to you, like I told you, brothers and sisters, for decades about gold and silver. And we'll bring out the Holy Scriptures. That's God's money. All right, it's gold and silver. Not Bitcoin, not cryptocurrency, and not that fake dollar, that paper money. Like I told you, the Rothschilds are the most cunning of them all. All right? They give you the paper, they give you the 401, the pensions, the IRA, the stocks, the bonds. It's only paper. It's worthless. They got the gold and the silver. Less than 1% of the population, the world's population, has gold and silver. I've told you, I have several places. I just don't have one place. I have several places. I have them hidden. All right. I don't live in a cave. All right. I've had businesses. I've always been in my 20s and 30s. I used to work 3 jobs. All right. Paper is paper, and most of you dummies, you're in debt, which is death. Okay. But I'm gonna bring something out to you, brothers and sisters. It's called the gold to silver ratio. Back in January of 2020, and remember in the ancient days, it would be 1 to 1 or 1 to 2. It would be gold and then silver, 1 to 2 in price. Then it went like 1 to 3, 1 to 5 during the times of Egypt and Persia, Babylon, Assyria, Rome, and the Greco-Roman Empire. All right, it was always pretty much close. 1 to 3, 1 to 4. You get the picture. But since the Rothschilds created that fiat money, they made gold up here. They made their fake dollar, U.S. currency right here, the fiat money, and then they stepped on silver. With silver is used in over 80,000. There's 80,000 uses for silver, more than gold. Okay, because gold is too much to put in a phone or a satellite. Or like I told you, missiles, short-range missiles and long-range missiles need 5 to 10 pounds of silver in it. And once those blow up, it's gone. They only can mine so much silver. Everything it needs silver. All right, like I said, they could put gold in it, but it would be too expensive. Like if they put gold all wrapped up in one of those Apple phones, that phone will be like 20 grand. So that's why it mostly has silver in it. Well, all these phones, satellites, has silver. These new batteries for the electric cars that are going to go 7 to 1,000 range miles. You could drive from one side of the country to the other. Well, 1,000 miles. You could actually go from Denver to Los Angeles. But they need a 33 ounces of silver, a kilo, which is 32 and a half ounces, close to 33. But you get the picture, a kilo for every battery. A kilo now, what is it going for? A kilo really went up. I think it's over $1,500. 1 kilo of silver, what's the price? The price of 1 kilo of silver. Right here, I'm looking at somewhere here. It says 1 kilo, $1,638.95. Okay, it keeps on going up. A few months back, I think it was about 4 months ago, I went to Costco. I bought a silver bar. I think it was a 10 ounce. It was $370. A month later, it went up to 400 and something. Now it's at it's over 500 now for 10 ounce. It just keeps on going. This year, silver has moved like crazy. I think what was it today? Yesterday, it hit over $48. It ended the day at 47.97 cents an ounce. Okay, I think the beginning of the year was at 30, so it went up $18 in 1 year. This is just the beginning, all right? And I know there's people that say, well, it says in the Bible that people are going to cast their silver and gold into the street. Yeah, that's in the fourth quarter. When all the missiles are coming, nothing's going to save you but God. Okay, we already know that. We're in the first quarter of World War III. We're about to go in the second quarter. All right, like I said, the second quarter to the third quarter, that could go 3, 5, 7, 9 years. You're going to need to eat. Okay? That's why I told you, brothers and sisters, if you have a 401, you have an IRA, get it out. I don't care how much they penalize you, and go run. I go to the store, to the gold and silver places here, and they told me it's non-stop business. Non-stop. They get so many calls. I'm friends with a lot of these guys because I buy. All right, then I go hide it in different locations. All right, I dig deep into the ground. All right, there's underground safes that you can put things in. All right, like I said, I've been knowing this for decades. It's going to go into the thousands. But going back to the gold and silver ratio, let me check to make sure this thing didn't stop. It's still going. So like I said, the Rothschilds, they know gold is up here. All right, because that's God's money. And then with silver. Then you had copper. Copper's going through the roof. Okay, but the Rothschilds set it up. Gold, fiat money, your stocks and bonds or 401s and all that. And then they put silver way down here. And if you look at a real pyramid up here, the point of the pyramid, the most power and wealth is at that point, which is silver and gold. And the way the pyramid is set, all the fake stuff is on this top. Everything's upside down. All the fake stuff, your bonds, your stocks, your 401, but then when the real assets, the true assets of the world is gold and silver. Okay, and remember the Lord was sold out for silver. I believe we're going to see soon silver going the same price as gold. It will be a 1-to-1 or 1-to-2. It's going to be close like that. Okay, gold's just going to shoot right to the moon. And really, gold should be at really 50,000. Silver should be at 3,000, but they manipulated. All right. Right now, even at $50, because right now with the premium, you're paying over $50 for silver here in Colorado. That's cheap. That's still dirt cheap. You should have got it though when it was $13, $14, $15. Right. Those are the only two assets that just keep on going up. Like that's instead of leaving money in the bank. Leaving money in the bank is for a fool. Like I told you, you've been brainwashed. The bank runs are coming. Once you start hitting, I believe when silver hits that 50, 52, 53, a lot of people are going to start running to the banks. I'm on a video. I'll call you right back. So back in January of 2020, it was gold to silver, 125 to 1. Okay, the price of gold and silver was way down here. This is all manipulated by the Rothschilds. They kept it like that to keep their king dollar in the middle. They destroyed the silver way down here. So back in 2020, it was 125 to 1. Now January of 2025, it's now 90 to 1. Silver is catching up to gold in a big way. Now I looked it up, October of 2025, it's 81 to 1. Right? So that, wake up. You're going to need to eat. And all the men of the Lord were prepared. All right? With animals, with food, with gold, with silver. But the number one thing is the Holy Book. You always remember that's the Holy Book and being close to God. But God did not raise fools. These people, they're the children of fools. The only people that have the real true power on the left-hand side are the Rothschilds, the DuPonts, the Rockefellers, the elites, and God put them there. And then on the right-hand side is your prophets, the 144,000, and you brothers and sisters. All right? We're the less than 1% on the right and the left. The rest of the people, they're doomed. Their monies are all stuck. They're in the system, and they're going to lose it all. You heard it from me, Ak Shalawan, which means brother of sorrow. I'm in sorrow right now. I'm in sorrow because the Lord is not King of kings. All right, when he comes back in the second coming and destroys all these places, then he's going to rule the world forever and ever. So let it be true. And then my name will be brother of joy. But right now it's brother of sorrow. Okay? But we're not no fools. All right? We're going to be okay. God says his people will eat during the times of famine and destruction. So hope all you brothers and sisters were edified with this lesson. Most High willing, I'll be here tomorrow with another lesson. Thank you for watching.